In this video, we're going to talk about clutch setup. Let's start with the basics. Always bolt your clutch to the flywheel. Never install the clutch on the transmission and take it all up at once. Also, replace all the worn parts and pieces around the clutch. Your front bearing cover, clutch brake, bushings and cross shafts, pilot bearing, release fork, and your input shaft. Looking at the dimensions, when we bolt the clutch to the flywheel, always check to make sure you have your 1/2 inch to 5/8 underneath the throwout bearing. This tells you that the setup is correct. What happens if it's not? What if this measurement is too large? If it's too large, there's a couple things we need to check on. Is the 5/16 clearance between the flywheel and the mounting bolts too small? This will cause the disc springs to hit the flywheel mounting bolts, pushing everything back so your dimension will get larger. What else could cause this? If you put a disc in backwards, the two hubs will hit, pushing everything out. Something else, if we try to put a 10-inch bore disc in an 8.5-inch bore flywheel. But what if this measurement is too small? We have less than a 1/2 inch underneath the throwout bearing when we bolt it to the flywheel. If the measurement is too small, either the flywheel was not turned or not turned correctly. That tells me the discs are sitting lower than the bottom of the clutch. Something else that will cause it. If the 3/16 measurement on the 15.5 inch was not checked and is too tall, now the clutch cover is actually bolting to that lip instead of flat on the flywheel. One other thing that can cause it is if you forget to install one of the two discs. One of the measurements we also need to check, after the transmission is installed, what is the measurement between our throwout bearing and our clutch brake? If this measurement is too large, we can use either an oversized clutch brake or what I recommend, the brake spacer that's inside the box. This is very easy to use. We slide it on the input shaft, and then install your clutch brake. This fiber spacer makes up for the wear and tear of the flywheel and the wear on your front bearing cover. If the measurement is too small, just take the fiber spacer out or use a standard size clutch brake instead of an oversized clutch brake. The last measurement we need to check on setup, if we have mechanical linkage, is the 1/8 inch between the throwout bearing and the release fork. This measurement gives us our free play. If this measurement is not right, never adjust the clutch to get this measurement right. Always adjust the linkage. Remember, on hydraulic linkage systems, there is no free play.